Welcome back everyone, and thank you very much for joining me on another one of my videos. Thank you so much for the support you've given me up to this point. I'm filming this as a little summary video just to round off the year. It's the 30th of December today. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, so I'd like to start by just hoping that you had a Merry Christmas or whatever it is you celebrate, and I hope you have a Happy New Year tomorrow. And let's hope that 2021 presents us with far more opportunity and prosperous beginnings than 2020 did. So as I said, I'd like to take the time just to do a kind of quick summary, roundup video of the year and where I am, and really also just to set myself a goal and lay out some of the things that I'd like to achieve next year. And hopefully, you know, some of you might join me along the way as I plan to sort of document a lot of this on video, you know, through YouTube. So I'm going to start off by saying that, you know, I've got this workspace now that I'm so happy with. It's by no means finished. The truth is, the footage that I shot for the studio build videos that I've been drip releasing over the last few weeks, that was all shot quite a while ago. The last month, 6 weeks, I've been in here working. It's been great. It's been great to have a project, but obviously those projects that I've been working on have taken me away from the finishing of the build that I really want to do in this room. But what I wanted to do is tell you on some of the projects I've been working on, because these are some of the things that I'd quite like to talk about with you next year. I am so thankful that I have currently an opportunity to be working on an actual film. I'm co-editing this film with a friend of mine who brought me in on the project, and I'm co-editing, but I'm also going to be writing the music for the film in the later stages. We have to do the editing first, and I said to him, I can't even begin to think about music until we have a kind of final cut of this film. But I feel so lucky to be able to work on a project like this. It's a small independent thing, but it's teaching me a lot about the software we're using and how to progress in this field that I've been interested in for so long, and teaching me a lot about kind of writing music to picture as well, which, you know, will be the next step. So I've been doing that, as you can imagine, for many hours in this room, you know, looking at these two screens over the last couple of months really, and that will continue on into the new year. I've also produced a charity song with several of my friends. I did work as a musician before coronavirus became a problem, and we decided to do a remote charity single of a cover of Last Christmas by Wham. I called upon some very talented friends of mine, and we put together a great video of us all singing and playing the parts. We did it for charity. Also, we asked for donations, and all the proceeds went to the Trussell Trust. We did a similar thing back in May, where I produced a much bigger song with many more people. That one had about 40 musicians on it, and it was probably that project that started off the desire to have a space like this, because that project back in May, I didn't have this space, and I did it all basically in the living room of my house. You know, I tracked the parts on my piano, I mixed all the parts that were getting sent into me via Dropbox, sat at the coffee table, and then I mixed and edited the audio and the video, sat there, and it was really hard to do all that on a laptop, not having a space, not having a designated space to do it. And that was what really started me off thinking it would be really nice to have a space where I could work from and just call mine and just be able to go to throughout the day. And that's why I feel so incredibly lucky to have a space like this, because now I can come here on a daily basis and do little projects like that. So the Christmas single, that I will link them both in the description, and hopefully I'll put something up on the top of the video there for you to click to and have a look at. But the most recent one, the Christmas one, was all tracked, produced here. I got a friend of mine, Jack, to mix it, but the video was edited here, the parts were tracked here, and it was all kind of sort of put together in this room, and I was really proud to be able to do that. So that and the video, the film I'm working on, and a few other bits and pieces have kept me very busy. So that really is the main point of this video, that it's taken me away from the build of this studio. So let me talk to you about that. I started this studio build by getting the space and creating this desk that I absolutely love, and then putting the gear into the desk and getting it to a workable state. So I know some of you have messaged me about acoustic treatment. This is a plan. At the moment, I'm not doing a lot with audio, and I'm not a recording studio, so it's not hugely important, but it is the plan. At the moment, I'm doing mostly video stuff and just kind of tracking. You know, it's a composer space, it's a writing space, creating space. So acoustic foam is not hugely important at this stage, but it is going to happen. I'll talk to you about that in just a moment. So at the moment we've got a kind of fully functional setup at the moment, but the room still needs to be finished. It's functioning in the sense that I have my new computer, which is running brilliantly, and it takes everything I throw at it, from large video files to big songs and, you know, orchestral libraries and things like that I'm throwing at it. Very, very quick machine. I've got my new interface, which I spoke about in one of my previous videos, Focusrite Claret 8 Pre, and that runs all the audio nicely, and I actually recorded some drums in here not that long ago, and it took that just fine. The speakers are fine, but I'd like to replace them in the new year. And then everything else is kind of pending, you know. I have plans in the pipeline. For example, my old interface I've rack mounted down here, which I don't think I mentioned in one of my previous videos. This no longer connects to my computer, but I plan to connect this up via optical and get another 8 channels out of that. So if I wanted to do a bigger drum setup, I could do that in here. The Patchbay I've spoken about before. My plan for the Patchbay is to have a very comprehensive in and out system of the Patchbay, which includes absolutely everything you can see, all my audio units and preamps and compressors, including then all my synth modules and some of the keyboards that I have that I've not had on camera yet. The eventual plan is to have all that running in and out through the Patchbay, so it's just a simple click in and out. So I can record all these things as I please and want to quite quickly and easily. I also want to be able to include guitar pedals and effects pedals and things like that to be able to warp sounds and manipulate sounds the way that I do already, but it's a real mission, and you know, to just have everything kind of laid out in a really methodical way is a very appealing thing. So this is all the plan for 2021, but I've just not been able to get to it yet, and considering all the work I've had has not called for that part of the studio to be working. It's not been at the top of the priority list. So it's all paused for the moment. But I will get it done. Acoustic treatment, and let's talk about this. As I mentioned it just a minute ago. I plan to build a kind of secondary wall behind the desk here that will all have some insulating like rock wall in it, and then some tiles on the outside. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do this yet, but it's just to kind of deaden the space. It's a very live room in here. I would really like to get to the stage where I can record very good quality vocals in here, as I do sing, and I know many people that do sing, and I want to be able to get to that stage. I don't think I could do that with the room in its current state, so I really need to build some stuff. So the plan is build a kind of second wall behind the desk that will cover up all the cables around the back and everything, and keep it all really tidy, and also act as like acoustic foam for behind the speakers and up above the screens. And then I plan to build a similar thing down the side of the wall, and then ultimately around the room. So I've got a little box within the room. And then the final part of that plan is to build a kind of room divide and a booth for vocals. So there'll be a wall behind me. So ideally when I do another YouTube video from this angle over here, you'll see a nice wall behind me, which will have some foam on it as well. And then the other side of that will act like a little booth, and there'll be foam all around it, mic stand with a nice mic in there, so I can record nice, good quality vocals for singing and voiceover if I ever need to. That's the plan. All this stuff takes time, and obviously I'm a man that is working and I have a family, and you know, everything takes time. So I hope to be able to throw a lot more time at this in the new year. Finally, what I'd like to talk to you about is where I want to be next year and what I want to achieve in future years. I will always edit videos, and I'll always create, and I'll always play piano and do this for fun, as well as, doing it for people who ask me to, for jobs or albums or people who need a little bit of piano. You know, this has always been my job and probably always will be, and that's wonderful. Very lucky to do that. The video thing has grown from being a hobby to just starting to be things that people ask me about in a sort of professional sense, and I've learned a lot over the last year. I've made upwards of 50 videos this year in lockdown, some of which are just family videos, you know, on my other YouTube channel. I'll link that in the description if anyone's interested, but it's very family orientated, so it might not interest the studio heads of you all, but it's still a good outlet to be able to practice the filmmaking aspect of it, the editing, writing some music to it, which I've done on several of them, all for silly family videos, you know, but I love it, and it helps account our lives, you know. It helps me keep an account of my children growing up, which, you know, I love to look back on as today. But what I really want to be able to do is start to bring you regular content on YouTube, talk about things I'm composing, which has always been a hobby of mine, but I hope to maybe one day turn that into a bit of a profession. Orchestration, I do a lot of this already, again, as a hobby, but I'd like to potentially get into doing it more for, you know, people on a professional level. So I'd like to kind of use this as my outlet, talk about things I've created, the way I'm doing it, sounds I'm using. I've always been fascinated by this world, whether it's video editing or music, production, composition, all these things. And I've always dabbled in bits of it throughout the last few years. And I think with lockdown and coronavirus, it's really given me an opportunity to focus on those things more because there's not much else going on. So I'm trying to turn this awful situation of COVID-19 into a positive, of steering my life and my kind of desires into the right direction. I've always dreamed of writing music, media composition. Always dreamed of that since I left school. Never done it because I've always just told myself, well, there's no time, I'm busy with gigs and I'm busy with this, that and the other. And now coronavirus has come along, obviously no one likes it, it's awful, it's an awful situation, but it's presented us this sort of unlikely scenario where suddenly we have time back on our hands. So I'm trying to now take my desires of wanting to learn about video editing and wanting to learn about writing music for media, film, TV, video games, whatever, and using this time we have to learn. I hope to do that in this space every day. I want to be in here every day learning for a period of time. And I hope to use YouTube as a real sort of handy tool outlet to help document this journey, and not only document my own progress, but hopefully create a little community where people can get involved and we can showcase each other, you know, and I can write stuff and see what you guys think, and likewise you guys can show me some stuff you're working on. And I've seen this work for other people that I very much admire, and I thought, why not have a go myself? And that's really the point of what I wanted to try and say to you today. Is I think the start of 2021, I'm really trying to make a positive one. I want to aim in the direction of things that I've wanted to do for so long and have never done, or only ever dabbled with in a sort of hobby sense. These things have always been a passion for me, and they've always been my hobby, and they always will be. And I'd love to develop my knowledge and my expertise and my experience more, so I can do this more and more and more, because I love it. And that was really the whole kind of the point of building this space, is that I can have a space and a place to go and learn and create and mess around with videos and all the rest of it, and just have a bit of fun whilst doing it. I really hope you've enjoyed watching my videos. I really hope to bring you some more. I've already got a lot of plans for future videos and future content for the new year, and I really hope you consider subscribing and following me, and obviously dropping me a line and help me turn this into a little community that we can be proud of. But really, I just hope you have a fantastic new year, and I hope that whatever has happened as a result of this awful situation that we find ourselves in, you can somehow try and turn it into something positive, and pushed to do something that you may not have done before, or you might have always wanted to try, or something you did before but you want to do it a bit more. I hope that makes sense. But for now, I'm going to sign off and stop rambling. Happy New Year, and I hope you had a fantastic holiday. For now, I'm going to sign off and stop my rambling. But thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic New Year. I hope 2021 is positive and prosperous and wonderful for you. And I look forward to bringing you much more content and uploading many more videos in the new year. Thanks, and bye for now.